I'm Carl, and I welcome you to our new AccurioPress C14000 series from Konica Minolta. And I have with me Michael. Hey Michael.
Hi Kalle, good to see you. I'm Michael, and today I play the part of the customer that can ask all the questions for this new and interesting product. So with that, I think we should start talking about the machine, Kalle.
Yeah, let's start. So the AccurioPress C12000 series is our latest entry into our production printing portfolio at Konica Minolta. And as all Japanese and European companies, we are printing from the right to the left, where the Americans print from the left to the right. I'm not sure why there is this difference. So we are starting here at the right with the paper trays. We have several paper modules available. In total, you can have up to 3 of them. And this gives you a paper input capacity of a maximum of 14,150 sheets.
Can they all be the same size, Kalle, or are there different drawers from different paper sizes or types?
They can all have the same sizes. So from 100 by 140 millimeters, which is the smallest one, up to 330 by 487. That's the maximum size you can have in all the trays. All trays are metal-based. As you can hear, they are very robust. And the robustness is very important because the more reliable you can feed the paper, the less stress you have in all the upcoming finishing and so on. On top of that, we have a lot of air inside the paper trays as well. So we are blowing air from the side and from the front to separate the paper before feeding, which gives another reliable paper feeding. And all paper trays are equipped with a vacuum feeding technology, known from the offset world, so it's a really trusted and reliable technology. And last but not least, we also can apply a heating unit, which is optional to all the paper trays, to heat the paper before printing. Because some papers, for example offset papers, they usually have a lot of water inside, and a laser machine like this one works with pressure and heat, and this is not always a good match. So we can dry the paper in the trays before feeding, so we don't have blisters and other effects during the print process.
What do you recommend for the paper before you start printing on it? How long time before should you have it in the room?
At least a day, I would say.
At least a day.
So overnight, so that the paper is organic, right? So the paper should set to the temperature and humidity of the room that makes the whole process more smooth. Mm-hmm. I open here our special tray. That's a tray 3 because it has a very straight paper pass. Here we can run all the special materials. Special material means this tray goes up to 450 GSM, where the others go up to 350 GSM. So here is really the maximum paper weight. And this tray also supports, for example, embossed or structured paper.
Okay, you can print on that as well?
Right, this is here from that tray. And on top of that, you can also do the envelope printing from this tray.
Envelope printing?
Envelope is standard, so you don't need to change the fusing unit or something like that. You really just put it here, push a green button, and then it goes.
Very cool.
For those who want to feed longer sheets, the machine supports banner printing or long sheet as well. So the longest format is up to 1300 millimeters, and the machine can do 900 millimeters in duplex printing. So for this we have our bypass tray. You also can use it as a hand feeder for a small amount of papers, but you can use this one for the long sheets as well.
You said duplex, you mean automatic duplex, so you don't need to put it back in the drawer again? Or?
Correct, we have an automatic duplex.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's continue to the main body. So the blue thing here, that's the main body of the C12000. This is this model. We have the bigger brother, this is the C14000.
What is the main difference between the two?
The difference between the two is just speed.
Okay.
The 12,000 comes with 120 pages in A4 per minute. The 14,000 comes with 140 pages in A4 per minute. The 12,000 goes for 69 pages a minute in A3. The 14,000 for 80 pages. So if you have a 2 up, 80 pages means 160 A4 in a minute. So on A3 we're even faster than we are on A4. So let's have a look to the engine. This door you can even open during production. Behind it you see our toner bottles. And they can be loaded during printing, so really on the fly you can add toner and so on. And inside here is these bottles which are lasting for around 200,000 prints. We have our new Symmetry V toner. The Symmetry V toner has 4 different big advantages. One of the biggest one is it has a bit more matte finish. So it's not that glossy, and a lot of customers asking for more matte finishing. If you print on normal paper, recycling paper, so this kind of thing, it looks more nicer if it is not. Then the fusing temperature of this toner is reduced, so you don't need that much heat really to bring the paper on the paper, which again reduces the effect on the paper. The electrostatic behavior has changed, so the toner easier jumps on the paper. And if you're printing on structured or embossed papers, it even goes easier into the valleys of these materials. And last but not least, the particles are a bit smaller, so that again it's easier to go into the valleys, but also to support the high resolution of these machines, which is 1200 volts, which is 2400 by 3600 dpi equivalent.
So you're saying less glossy, could you say it's getting closer to the matte look of offset?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So here you have the printing pass. You see the paper pass is again very straight. Here at the beginning we have a very new unit, which is our media sensor. As the unit calls itself, it really measures media. So you can put in whatever kind of media in a tray, push the green button, and then this sensor will find out the thickness, the weight, and the surface of the paper. It will look to the paper catalog and find the right paper in the paper catalog if it does exist, or it gives you some suggestions how the setting for the paper should be to have the best quality.
So if your business have a lot of different operators, they don't need to be specialists on the paper. They could still easily find the correct paper profile and be sure that the output quality also is like that.
Correct. So you don't need a paper expert anymore. Also, if you have a lot of different papers on your shelves and nobody knows what it was, you can easily let the machine find it out. Or if a customer comes with a used green stick and a pack of paper, say, please print, and nobody knows what paper it was, the machine will find it out. Next here is our registration. We have a very active registration, so really touching every single sheet. Means if a sheet comes a bit skewed like this, we will stop it, we will create a kind of loop here and let it flip, so that after that it's really absolute even. We also have some rollers which are rolling in the different opposite direction to make sure that the paper is really perfectly aligned here. On top of that, we also shift the sheet so that every single sheet hits the transfer exactly in the same position. This helps us to have a very, very good registration and duplex registration as well.
On the same second side also.
Correct. Next one here is our fusing unit. Newly created, and as you can see, it's quite heavy with 43 kilograms, nothing you would carry by your own, but we have a fusing unit wagon if you want to change it. You may want to change it because we have an extra envelope fusing. If you're running high volumes of envelopes, it makes sense to use that one. Otherwise, you may create some marks on the fusing belt. What's new here in the fusing unit is we have a cleaning wrap inside to clean the cleaning roller, which then again cleans the fusing bulb to make sure that there are no particles left or something like that to have always optimum quality.
Just a quick one coming back to the envelopes. If you're running low volume envelopes, you don't need to replace the fuser. It can just be done in between other jobs.
Correct. The fusing unit has a kind of, we call it jog mechanism, so it moves a bit up and down to make sure that the edges of the paper not always hit the same spot as the fusing belt, and to reduce this effect of stripes for smaller sizes. Another thing I'd like to mention here, behind this metal, you can see it here, are all laser heads. We are working with 16 laser units, and this is all combined in our so-called SEED-X technology. SEED is Screen Enhanced Active Digital Processing, and it's really the heart of our machine. Our development power really went into this technology to make sure that the output is always stable, it's always high quality. We have top positioning control, corner enhancement, really to make sure that fonts, gradation, images, everything has a fantastic quality.
And the resolution you said was 2400 by 3600 dpi, correct? In 8 bits?
In 8 bit, exactly.
Impressive.
So next to that we have a few additions to the main body. One is our RU518, a conveyance unit. It has in standard mode a mechanical decurler. So if you have low paper or low weight papers, they tend to curl a bit due to the fusing process with the heat, and this will smoothen the paper in the decurling. It also cools down the paper, because if it is too hot, it's difficult to finish it. And it also has an output tray here. You can use it for the long sheets, but also in case you have a paper jam later on, it will move all the pages, all the sheets which are before the paper jam here to that output tray to make sure you don't have to clean the whole thing. Okay. As an option, you can have a water decurler. So in the beginning I said we can heat the paper or dry the paper in the paper trays, and here we apply actually the water to the papers. That has the benefit of, first of all, another good decurling, so the paper becomes smoother out of the press. It further cools down the paper. It also helps against electrostatic, which all again then helps for better finishing quality.
If I have an offline finishing, the quality is flat straight, so I can just take it and put it in.
Correct. Then the next one we have, that's another addition to the main body. This is an option, but I think it's a must. We call it IQ501, Intelligent Quality Care, and this unit has 2 scanners and a spectrophotometer. We are using the speed of the scanners together with the accuracy of the spectrophotometer. And with this technology we can automate a lot of things which are usually done very manually. For example, the duplex registration. With this unit, you only put your paper into the paper tray, push the green button, a special test frame is created and measured by the 2 scanners. And with these 2 scanners measured the edges and the frame in the paper, so it easily can adjust the duplex registration.
Automatically?
Fully automatically.
And how much paper do you waste by doing that?
Only 1 sheet is
Only
required.
1 sheet?
Only 1 sheet is required to do that.
Wow.
This can be done before the job, or also during printing. In the printer driver you can switch on auto duplex registration, and then we're creating some marks outside of the imaging area of your document, which are controlled by the 2 scanners, and each single sheet is measured, and as soon as there is a discrepancy or a movement, the machine tries to correct it, and if it's getting too big, it will stop the press, otherwise you have to throw away all the different sheets. On top of that, we also can do color management. Color management is always a bit difficult. So if you ask 4 experts, you get 5 different answers. For me, it's quite easy. We have the linearization, the calibration, and the profiling. The linearization is done totally automatically here with this machine. We have the so-called auto package adjustment, which you, again, with the green button, you can activate it. It takes around 12 minutes. It will print around 13 sheets. And then the machine has the same quality level as the day before, the week before, or the month before. So it's very stable. Due to that, it's a linearization. The machine itself is so stable, you don't need to calibrate anymore, and you don't need to profile. Because again, the machine is stable, so therefore it's not changed. Therefore, all the other workflows don't need to know any new data, as the machine is so stable. And again, this can be done before the job, but also within the job. So in the job, we can also add some color patches, which are then measured again with the scanners on every single sheet, and as soon as there is a movement in the color, the machine will correct it.
Okay. Automatically.
Automatically again. Third feature here is a kind of quality assurance. Again, you push the green button and a special test chart is printed. And in the test chart, we are looking for stripes, for streaks, for dots, whatever can happen due to toner, due to paper dust, whatever it is. The scanners will find it and detect it. They will then try to correct it with the onboard adjustments like toner refresh mode and a lot of other things. And if it can correct itself, you can start with your job. If it cannot, you have a very good reporting for our service and technicians to let them know exactly what went wrong with the machine. Again, this is done before the job. With an option, we call it AIT, Auto Inspection Technology. You can do this during the job as well. Okay. Then every single sheet is controlled. Again, it will look for streaks, stripes, dots, whatever. And as soon as there is a difference, we'll put the wrong sheets here to the purge tray and reprint everything which is required afterwards to make sure that your job is always completed.
So the sequence is correct.
The sequence is always kept correct. Yeah. But the IQ501 is not just a product. For me, it's a kind of journey because we always add in features. And one feature we just added recently is a variable data inspection. So with the scanners, we also can detect areas on a sheet. For example, we can see numbers, barcodes, or QR codes, read them, and put them to a CSV file. So first of all, you have a full control that the barcodes and QR codes are really readable. Secondly, you have a reporting for your customers that you really printed all the required records.
And these different areas, are they selectable by the user? So
right,
you can pick.
We have an interface, and you can mark the areas where it should look for QR code, barcode, and numbers. You can even check if the sequence is in the right order. These kind of things to really make sure that what you printed or what you're printing is really what your customer wants. So Michael, I'd like to show you our latest innovation. Our trimming unit, the TU510. And the TU510 has a lot of knives inside to really cut papers into pieces.
Cut paper into pieces. So it's a shredder.
Maybe not. So one thing it can do the input is always an SAR3 sheet. So one thing it does, from one SAR3, it cuts out an A3.
Okay.
It goes
Inline?
Inline. It also can do 2 A4 out of one SAR3.
Wow. And also full bleed?
Full bleed. That's a nice part with it, right? You can really create full bleed application with this trimming unit. On top of that, you can create out of one SAR3 sheet 4 postcards.
Wow. And it all comes out here?
It all comes out here.
Wow.
The A4 and A3 sheets can also go to the finishing.
Okay.
But the smaller formats always have to go to the finishing.
Wow. That's really nice.
So this is really special. And one other thing, we even can cut down to business cards.
Wow. Wow.
So you have an inline business card cutter. The speed of the machine will go down. So if you're going for business cards, you have 17 sheets a minute, which is for print. But you have 21 business cards and one sheet means you have 500 business cards in less than 3 minutes.
And these three, in this example, all these three belong to the same person.
Correct. It could be different as well.
That could also stack one person to each, depending on, of course, my imposition speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. Here you can see the paper waste.
Wow.
And you see we cut a lot already.
Mm-hmm.
And here are the different trimming tools. Again, if you have your sheet. The front and back knife. This is this one here. That's in standard. Also the trimming for the left and for the right is in standard. You can have optional trimming or slitting unit here in the middle. Actually, it's easily two of them to cut for business cards or postcards. And the creasing unit is also an option to this unit.
And trimming in the middle, is that one as well, or is that a different one when you want to cut down to these two?
No, that's the same one.
That's the same one.
Yeah, that's the same one. And you can support even the long sheets, so even the 1300 millimeters can be cut in full bleed.
Okay. So
which is another option, and the business card is also an option to this unit.
Wow.
One new unit I want to show you is the LS507. It's our new stacking unit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's come with a kind of rotation stacking. So if you have printed a lot of sheets, it will, as you can see, it moves down. And then the first paper pile will be pushed out to the front, and the second paper pile will be already created. So it's really rotation or continuously production of this unit.
While it's doing this, is it buffering the sheets or is it pausing?
Then it will pause.
Okay.
For a few seconds, but you see how fast it goes. So it's just a break of a few seconds and then it will start. I like to add that you can do the shifted output as well. So if you have several jobs, they are a bit shifted, so that's easier to understand where is one starting and where's the next. Here we have a trolley unit.
Okay.
Easily
very good.
move whatever paper stack you have wherever you want to do your function.
Very cool.
And our printing systems are always very modular, so you can really decide what kind of finishing you want to have. And then here we have the turning unit, we have the stacker, we have here our SD513, which is a booklet maker, but we have a lot of different kind of booklet maker depending on the volume.
This is made by Konica Minolta, this one here?
This is made by Konica Minolta, correct. But we also have one from Pragmatic, for example, if you have higher volumes. And we have a big one from Pragmatic as well. So if you're nearly only printing booklets, we always have the right choices for you to really have the best reliability for your production. Beside booklet maker, we also have perfect binder. So inline glue binding we can offer. We have cooperation with GBC, so we have a GBC puncher and a GBC wire binder inline. We're also working with Max, having a Max call binding system inline. We have our FD503, which is an origami unit with 6 different types of folding. And here, what you see here at the very end of this configuration is our staple finisher with a simple output tray. But this one can corner or side stapling as well, and you can put here, for example, the long sheets as well.
Excellent.
That's pretty much it. Thank you very much for joining our virtual demo. Hope you like our new product. Stay healthy and talk to you soon.